Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive from the Morss Global Finance podcast team. I'm John,
And I'm Tiffany.
and we're here to dig into a topic that's probably pretty relevant to a lot of you out there.
Especially these days.
Yeah, especially these days.
Yeah.
How to protect your savings when it feels like the world is kind of,
A little bit shaky.
yeah, a little bit shaky,
Exactly.
a little bit unpredictable.
And one thing that people keep talking about is gold, right? This idea of gold as like a safe haven asset.
Yeah, it seems like every time, there's a lot of global anxiety, gold starts to kind of,
Shine a little brighter.
yeah, shine a little brighter.
Exactly.
So we thought we'd take a deep dive into a company called Goldco. They specialize in gold IRAs, and we're going to see what they're all about.
See how they fit into this whole picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Tiffany, we're talking about global anxieties, making people nervous about traditional investments. What is it about gold specifically that makes it attractive in times like these?
Well, when you see things like the conflict in Ukraine or the situation with Taiwan, it makes investors a little bit hesitant about assets that are really tied to the US dollar, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, your stocks and bonds, maybe even real estate, can feel a little bit risky.
They're all kind of in the same boat, in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And so gold has this, historical reputation as the store of value.
It's like that classic image of pirates burying treasure chests full of gold coins.
That's it. And there's a reason for that. Because gold, it's not directly tied to the ups and downs of the dollar.
It's like its own little world.
It is. It's like its own separate thing.
It's kind of fascinating when you think about it.
It is. And there's data to back this up. Like, since 1971, think about this. The US dollar has lost over 98% of its purchasing power.
Whoa, 98%.
Yeah.
That's almost everything.
Yeah. And gold and silver, they've held up pretty well during that same period.
They've kind of just been chilling like, we're good over here.
Yeah. So you can see why investors might start to look at it a little bit differently when things are uncertain.
It's like they're looking for something solid, something that's not going to disappear overnight.
Something with a little bit more staying power.
Right. So it's not just about today's headlines. It's about having a plan for a future where the financial landscape might look very different.
Okay. I'm starting to see why people turn to gold in times of uncertainty. But how does Goldco fit into all of this?
Well, think of Goldco as a bridge between you and that world of precious metals. They're not a gold mine.
Okay, so they're not out there with pickaxes and,
No pickaxes.
Oh, okay.
They primarily act as a broker.
Okay.
So they're helping you get your hands on IRS-approved gold and silver coins or bullion for your retirement account.
That's all very official and regulated.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So they're not digging up the gold themselves, but they're helping you get your hands on the right kind of gold for your IRA. That sounds way less messy than running a gold mine.
Much less messy. And they handle a lot of the complexities.
Yeah, they do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Okay.
Like, they don't actually hold your assets themselves.
Oh, okay.
There are separate custodians and storage facilities for that.
Makes sense.
But Goldco helps you with all the paperwork, all the logistics of getting that set up.
They make sure you're not, like, wandering around lost in the precious metals world.
Right, they're like your guide.
That's good to know.
And they even can help convert existing retirement funds into a precious metals IRA.
So they can help you move your existing money into this new kind of investment.
Exactly.
So they're like the, like the travel agents of the precious metals world.
Yeah, there you go.
So what kind of stuff can you actually buy through Goldco? Are we talking about like any gold coin you can find at a flea market?
No, not just any coin. It has to meet certain standards for a precious metals IRA.
Okay.
So, for example, for gold IRAs, they offer a range of coins like American Eagles, Australian striped marlins.
Okay, so some exotic names there.
Yeah, there's some really cool ones.
Okay.
Canadian maple leaves. They even have gold bars if you're feeling really ambitious.
Like if you want to be like Scrooge McDuck.
Exactly.
Okay. But what about silver? Does Goldco handle that too?
They do. They do silver IRAs as well.
Oh, cool.
So you've got options like the American Silver Eagle.
Okay, classic.
Yeah, and even get this, a Chuck Norris silver coin.
Whoa. A Chuck Norris coin. That's like next level.
It's pretty cool. They offer silver bars as well.
Okay, so the full range.
Uh-huh. And on top of that, they also handle 401k rollovers. So if you're thinking about diversifying, like you said, they can help you move some of that money into a precious metals IRA.
So it's not just about starting fresh. You can actually bring some of your existing retirement savings into this world.
Exactly.
That's pretty handy.
And it's not just limited to those, they work with SEP plans, simple IRA plans,
Okay.
traditional Roth IRAs, so they've got pretty much all the bases covered there.
So whether you're just starting out or looking to, kind of revamp your existing retirement portfolio, it seems like Goldco has some options.
Definitely.
But let's say someone's like, okay, I'm intrigued. I want to go the Goldco route. How does this whole precious metals IRA thing actually work?
Well, the first step is you open your precious metals IRA with Goldco. You sign a contract, they assign you a dedicated specialist who will be your guide.
So you've got like a personal precious metals concierge?
Exactly.
That's cool.
So you're not just left to figure it all out on your own.
Okay, so what's next?
Well, then you have to fund your precious metals IRA, right?
Right.
So that usually involves transferring funds from existing retirement accounts like your TSP, 401k, 403b.
Gotcha. But, whenever you're talking about moving money around between retirement accounts, don't you usually have to, check with the tax people, make sure you're not going to get hit with some crazy fees?
You're absolutely right. Goldco really emphasizes consulting with a tax advisor before making any moves because there could be tax implications.
Okay, always good to get the tax folks involved.
It's better to be safe.
Totally. So once the money's in place, what's the next step? Do they just hand you a bag of gold coins and send you on your way?
Not quite, no.
Oh, okay, good.
Once your account's funded, you get to choose your preferred precious metals from Goldco's selection.
Okay, so you get to pick and choose what you want.
Yeah, you get to build your little treasure chest, so to speak.
Right, so I'm building my treasure chest.
And then they handle shipping those assets to a secure depository for safekeeping.
Okay, so it's not like I have to worry about, having a safe in my house and, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. It's all very secure and above board.
Okay, that's good to know. But now for the practical stuff, right? What about the cost? What kind of minimum investment are we talking about here? And what fees are involved with Goldco?
Well, with Goldco, to open a gold IRA, you're looking at a minimum investment of $25,000.
Okay, so that's the entry point.
That's the starting point. And as for fees, there are a few to be aware of. There's a one-time setup fee, that's $50.
Huh.
There's a $30 wire fee, and then an annual maintenance fee of $100.
Okay, so you've got some upfront costs and then the yearly fee for maintenance.
Exactly.
Makes sense. And what about storage?
Storage fees, right. So those can range from $100 to $150 per year.
Okay, so you set a range.
Yeah.
What's the difference there? What am I choosing between?
You're choosing the type of storage.
Oh, okay.
So they offer something called segregated storage, which means your precious metals are kept separate from other investors' holdings.
So it's like having your own little private vault within the vault.
Exactly. It's like the VIP section of the precious metals world.
Gotcha. But that costs a little bit more, the segregated?
It does, yeah. The alternative is non-segregated storage, which is where your metals are stored alongside other investors' assets.
So it's still secure, it's just,
It's still secure, you're just sharing the space.
Okay, so you've got options depending on how comfortable you feel and what your budget is. Got it. So we've talked about what Goldco does, how they operate, the costs involved, but let's talk about the good and the bad. What are the real advantages and maybe some potential drawbacks of going with a company like Goldco?
Well, on the plus side, Goldco does a lot of things really well. For starters, they've got discounts, promotions for new investors.
Always a good thing.
Always nice to save a little money. They also have a lot of free educational resources.
So they want to make sure you understand what you're getting into.
Yeah, they want you to be informed, make good decisions.
That's great.
And their onboarding process is pretty straightforward.
So it's not like you're jumping through a million hoops to get started.
Exactly. They make it pretty easy.
That's good to know. What else is on the good side?
Another thing is they don't charge transaction fees for non-IRA precious metals.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're buying gold or silver outside of your retirement account, you're not going to get hit with those extra fees.
Okay, that's good to know. So they're not just focused on the IRA side of things.
Right. They've got options for other types of investments as well.
Gotcha. Anything else?
Their buyback program is great.
Buyback program. What is that?
So if you decide to sell your precious metals, they'll buy them back from you
Oh,
at a competitive price, so you don't have to go out and find a buyer on your own.
that's really convenient.
It is. It takes a lot of the stress out of the process.
Okay, so they help you on both ends, buying and selling.
Exactly.
And what about the people running the show? Are we talking seasoned pros or
Yeah.
a bunch of, newbies?
They've got a really experienced leadership team.
Okay, that's reassuring.
They've been in the industry for a long time. They know what they're doing.
Okay, good.
And importantly, with Goldco, You get the same tax advantages as you would with a traditional IRA.
Oh, okay, so you're not losing out on any of those benefits.
Right. It's still a tax-advantaged retirement account.
Okay, that's key.
And one thing that I think sets them apart is that they really try to take the guesswork out of building your portfolio.
Okay, how so?
Well, they have a very specific selection of metals that they offer, all of which meet certain standards and are appropriate for IRA investments.
So they've kind of curated a list of, like,
Yep.
the good stuff.
Exactly. They've done the research, they've vetted the options.
Okay, that makes it a lot easier for someone who's, maybe not a precious metals expert.
Right. You don't have to be a coin collector to get started.
Gotcha. So it sounds like there's a lot to like about Goldco, but, no company is perfect. There have to be some downsides,
Yeah,
right?
of course, there are always things to consider. One thing is you can't add precious metals you already own to a Goldco portfolio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, any assets in your Goldco IRA have to be purchased through them.
Okay, so they control the supply chain there.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Anything else?
Another thing is that you can't open an account online.
Oh, interesting.
You have to do it over the phone or through email.
So it's a little bit more old school in that sense?
Sure. It is, yeah. For some people, that might not be a big deal, but for others, they might prefer the convenience of doing everything online.
Right, it's all about personal preference.
Exactly.
Okay, and anything else?
Their minimum deposit is higher than some competitors.
Oh, okay.
So if you're just starting out with a smaller amount to invest, Goldco might not be the right fit.
Gotcha. So you might have to look elsewhere if you're not quite at that $25,000 level yet.
Exactly.
Okay, so even with those points, it sounds like Goldco offers a pretty compelling package.
They do.
I mean, they've been around for a while. They have experience. They seem to prioritize, customer education. They offer a range of services.
Yeah, they really focus on making the process as easy and understandable as possible.
Am I missing anything?
Well, you mentioned their reputation, and it's worth noting that they have a really strong reputation in the industry. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau
Oh, wow.
and an AAA rating from the Business Consumer Alliance.
So that's like top tier.
Yeah, those are pretty much the gold standard when it comes to ratings.
Okay, that's impressive. But ratings are one thing. What are people actually saying about Goldco? Are there any, red flags buried in online reviews or anything like that?
That's a great question, and it's always smart to do your research, read what other customers are saying. Overall, Goldco gets really positive reviews across the board. You look at Consumer Affairs, TrustLink, Trustpilot, Google reviews, they're consistently getting high marks.
Okay, so it sounds like they're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. Customers praise their customer service, the ease of setting up an account, the helpfulness of their educational resources. They seem to be doing a lot of things right.
But, even the best companies have a few disgruntled customers here and there. Any recurring complaints, any negative feedback that, we should be aware of?
There are always going to be some complaints, and with Goldco, the most common one seems to be about unwanted calls.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, their sales team can be a bit, persistent.
Ugh, the dreaded sales calls. Okay, anything else?
There have been a few concerns about the accuracy of coin values.
Okay, what does that mean?
Some customers have felt that they weren't getting the best price when they were buying certain coins.
Oh, okay.
But it's worth noting that in those cases, Goldco has been very responsive.
Okay, that's good.
They've offered to repurchase the coins at a profit, so they're clearly committed to making things right.
So they're willing to work with customers? If there's a discrepancy, that's a good sign.
Definitely.
Okay, so a few bumps in the road, but overall, it seems like their reputation is pretty solid.
It really is.
And, to add to that, they've got some pretty big names endorsing them, right?
Right.
Like Sean Hannity, Stu Peters.
Yeah, they've got some high-profile supporters.
Even Chuck Norris, right?
Consider Norris.
Okay.
And they've been recognized by the American Business Awards as, the firm of the year in financial services.
Wow, okay, so they're getting accolades from, both industry experts and customers?
Exactly. They're ticking a lot of boxes.
So what really makes Goldco stand out from the crowd? What are the things that, really differentiate them from other companies doing this precious metals IRA thing?
Well, I think one of the things that really sets Goldco apart is their focus on customer service.
Okay, everyone says that, but what makes it special in their case?
Well, it's not just about being friendly, it's about going the extra mile.
Okay.
For example, they waive fees for first-year
Well,
investors.
that's nice.
They give you a 10% refund on silver purchases.
Okay, so they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Exactly. And they've got a team of experts who are readily available to answer your questions.
So you're not just left hanging. You can actually talk to someone who knows what's going on.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good to know. What else is different about them?
Their selection is another big plus.
Okay.
They've got a wide variety of products, gold bars, coins, bullion from all over the world.
So you're not just limited to a few options.
Right. You can really diversify your portfolio.
And they're very particular about the quality, too.
Oh, yeah. All their gold has to meet a minimum fineness requirement of 0.995%.
So you know you're getting the good stuff.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about when it's time to sell? We talked about buybacks earlier, but tell me more about how that works.
Their buyback program is really seamless. They make it super easy to sell your precious metals back to them.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about finding a buyer, negotiating prices, any of that.
That's a huge relief, especially if you're not, a precious metals trader or anything like that.
Right. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
Okay, and we touched on 401k rollovers earlier, but it sounds like they're really good at that, too.
They are. They're experts at handling those transfers from traditional IRAs and 401ks into precious metals IRAs.
So if I'm already invested in a traditional retirement plan, I can still get in on the precious metals action.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And to make things even easier, they assign each customer a dedicated IRA specialist.
So it's like having your own personal guide through the whole process.
Exactly. They're there to answer your questions, walk you through the steps, make sure you're comfortable with everything.
Okay, so you're not just a number. You're actually working with someone who's invested in your success.
Exactly.
I like that. And you mentioned their educational resources. Tell me more about those.
They've got a ton of free resources on their website.
Okay.
Articles, videos. They even have a free kit you can order that's packed with information.
So they're not just trying to sell you something. They're actually trying to educate you.
Exactly. They want you to be informed and make the best decision for your situation.
Okay, so with all that in mind, who do you think is the ideal customer for Goldco? Who would benefit most from their services?
Well, I think they're a great choice for anyone who's new to precious metals investing.
Okay, so if you're just starting out, they can kind of hold your hand through the process.
Yeah, they make it really easy to get started.
What about more experienced investors?
Well, even if you're experienced, their expertise and personalized service can still be really valuable. And I think seniors looking to diversify their retirement portfolios could really benefit from what Goldco offers.
So it's not just about young people trying to get started. It's also about people who are closer to retirement age and looking for ways to protect their savings.
Exactly.
Okay, what about people who are, a little bit more skeptical of traditional investments?
Yeah, I think anyone who's concerned about the economy, inflation, the stability of the dollar.
The kind of person who likes to have something tangible, something they can hold in their hand.
Exactly. Gold and silver have that inherent value that can be really reassuring in times of uncertainty.
So it's not just about the numbers on a screen. It's about having something physical that you can, rely on.
Exactly.
Okay, and one last thing I wanted to touch on is security. I know that's a big concern for a lot of people when it comes to investing in precious metals.
Absolutely. And Goldco takes security very seriously. They work with reputable custodians and storage facilities that meet the highest industry standards.
But my gold isn't just sitting in some random warehouse somewhere.
No, it's in a secure vault, specifically designed to protect these kinds of assets.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. So, bottom line, it sounds like you're giving Goldco a pretty strong endorsement.
I am. I think they're a great option for anyone looking to diversify their portfolio with precious metals.
Yeah.
They've got a great track record. They're committed to customer satisfaction, and they really make the whole process as easy as possible.
Awesome. So if someone's listening to this and thinking, hey, maybe I should look into this, what's the best way to take that next step with Goldco?
I'd say head over to their website. They've got a ton of information there. You can learn about their services, read testimonials, all that good stuff.
Okay, so get educated, do your research.
Exactly. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to their representatives directly. They're really helpful, and they can walk you through the process.
Perfect. Well, Tiffany, this has been incredibly insightful. Thanks for sharing your expertise with us today.
My pleasure, John. It's always great to talk about this stuff.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of precious metals and gold IRAs. We hope you learned a thing or two, and maybe even got a little bit inspired to take control of your financial future. Until next time, invest wisely.